Couple of weeks ago, David Oscar linked me up and said, "Yo, Black Rasta, I'm coming to Ghana. Oh my God, have mercy. Can you give me an interview?" I said, "I've been waiting for this interview for only God knows how long. Unfortunately, I'm going to be flying out of the country. I won't be here." And you see, what must happen must happen. When I went to the airport and missed my flight, I told myself, well, it's time for David Oscar. So right from the airport, I sent him a message and said, "Listen, brethren, it looks like this interview must happen." And then before he came into the studio, he sent a message and said, "Too much traffic all over the place, but we would make it." We are talking. Dave, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm very, very well, and thank you so very much for having me. You know, this is like a dream come true because once upon a time I had a dream and I was being interviewed by Black Rasta.
Wow.
You know, so my friends were even asking me, "Is this the first time you're meeting Black Rasta?"
Wow.
And then I said, "Oh, well, I've met him before, you know, but that's like long time ago. And at the time I was not even doing music, you know."
Wow.
So like properly, this is the first time I'm meeting Black Rasta.
Oh my God.
And it's also going to be happening, you know, over the console. So for me, this is very historic and I'm very grateful for the time.
Oh my God. Now, Dave, tell me the journey from comedy to music, and not just music, but reggae. Why did you decide to do reggae?
Self-consciousness, you know, self-awakening, self-discovery, I would say, because comedy was like a field where I had to apprentice, you know, and learn. So through that, I made a lot of mistakes, you know, and that actually pushed me into some kind of deep depression, you know. And in the process of recovery, you know, I had always knew and loved reggae music, but it was this short period that made me discover my love and potential to also be part of the family, and coupled with the fact that, you know, it resonates already with a certain consciousness that I have as a person.
That's true.
As an African, you know, and so it was very easy to connect.
Wow.
You know, and so one day I realized that, okay, all the mistakes you made doing comedy, all the pitfalls and everything, this was just preparing you for this moment where you could be able to express yourself musically, artistically, and through reggae music.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this depression and the self-awakening. Tell me, what mistakes did you make?
Oh, as a young artist, you know, as a young comedian, who at the time was the only comedian in the space, you know, I felt it was a duty for me to also create my own space within which other comedians could be discovered, you know, and this was my little assignment in my little corner. Now, at the time, it wasn't so easy for young people to hold themselves up as comics, especially in a space where the market was so very much dominated by Nigerian comedy, you know. No offense or disrespect to our brothers from Nigeria, but because of that, it was so difficult for young people like myself and many others that I knew, mostly from Legon, where I was, you know, to hold themselves up as comedians. So I think that it took the efforts, my efforts, you know, my personal investments and my personal commitments to eventually be able to create some kind of a market space for young Ghanaian talent, young Ghanaian comedians. And today you have loads of them out there, and I'm very proud of everybody doing, you know, wonderful in this space.
So you would say that you started that renaissance.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So the credit should come to you.
Naturally, of course. You know, I know that there are certain people or certain elements who try to write me out of the story, but it's not possible, you know, because you wouldn't be having this space and all the exploits that are being performed in the space without the episode of David Oscar in the whole equation.
That's true.
You know, so if they try to write me out or, you know, sort of like belittle my own contributions to the journey, I only look at it from two perspectives. It's either hatred or sheer intimidation. I mean, they just feel intimidated by my character, you know, and by my persona. So, yeah, but it's fine. I mean, what is written is written.
It's written.
You know, exactly.
Will you return to comedy one day? Or is it over?
Well, I don't really desire it so much, and I will tell you why. You know, I happen to find myself right now in a certain space where there's so much love and appreciation for the arts, which I practice. You know, so I've always told people that unless returning to comedy, I mean, unless the cost that will be involved in me returning to comedy is going to be borne by somebody who I don't know, you know, it's not really worth it. You know,
not worth it.
I think there's so many comedians in the system who are doing great, you know, so the people can afford to laugh with these people. And just leave me alone. Let me just, you know, rather get used to the new David Oscar, the musical David Oscar.
Interesting.
You know, exactly.
I love this. When people get so creative, they can move from one space into the other. Unfortunately, we live in a country where people don't appreciate that.
Exactly.
That once you are known as a comedian, remain comedian for life. Unfortunately. But how are you dealing with that? Are people taking your music serious?
Oh, I should think so. Why not? Because I get a lot of messages from fans in Ghana, and not just here. I mean, from all over the place, from all over the world. I'm based in Germany now. I would say that music really. I mean, my decision to start music is what even opened the door for me to immigrate out of Ghana in the first place.
Interesting.
So for me, I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't had the courage to even start this journey in the first place.
I like that.
Yeah.
2 questions and I'm done. Are you married to a German woman now?
Yes, of course.
You are.
Yeah.
Interesting. David Oscar is my guest, and we're talking. All right, so the last question is this. You are in Ghana, and I know you are originating a certain huge reggae festival, true?
Yes, I mean, I'm trying to do my little bit. I see the space as a space that is ready for contributions from various quarters. So I am just trying to play my little role. I grew up in Koforidua. Not many things of such nature happen in Koforidua. So it was a deliberate decision to take it to my home city, so that my people there can also have a feel of what happens in Accra sometimes, Wow. So, yes, I hope to be able to build it into some formidable festival where we can even have Black Rasta come through Koforidua. You have a lot of fans in Koforidua. I'm sure they would love to see you sometime in the future. So.
And this broadcast goes all the way to Koforidua and even beyond.
Exactly.
So David Oscar is here. Tell us what date it is and what is going to be happening on the day.
Okay, the show is just this Saturday, which is a day after Friday.
Yes,
and it's going to be happening at Havila Restaurant.
Wow.
And for those who don't know, Havila Restaurant is on the same street as Jackie Joe, Daddy's Bar, and all that Kenke Factory Road. That's where Havila Restaurant is. And the show is going to start at 8 p.m.
Wow.
It's free basically. But if you want a spot to sit down with your family, your wife, your girlfriend, somebody you are coming with, then just call and reserve a spot. So that it's just 50 cedis. But otherwise, just come. Your presence to us is more important than the reservation. So just come around.
We will certainly support you. David Oscar, thank you so much for coming. If you have any final messages you want to give out, please feel free.
Yes, my music is all over the place. I notice my music is still making inroads in the country. A lot of people get surprised when they hear that I'm doing music. So please follow me everywhere. David Oscar Dogbe, on Instagram, on Twitter, and follow my YouTube channel, David Oscar Dogbe, and stream my music on Spotify, on all the other streaming platforms that you know about. Just look for David Oscar Dogbe. That's me right there.
David Oscar Dogbe. My name Black Rasta. I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. Blessed.
Rasta love.
Kilo One Hot Beat. Take me to the rhythm of the beat.